So, we're big Death Battle fans. We love it when either an unfamiliar character gets in or a familiar character. But sometimes there's a familiar franchise or character we just don't want in Death Battle. Not for hatred or spiteful reasons, should be clear. But it could either be like, they just don't work in Death Battle. And I specifically got 3 matchups as well that I really don't think would work in a Death Battle. Or even just the characters of the franchise.
Or it could just be you just don't want to see that character be put in Death Battle because you don't want to risk the potential of them dying. In which case, do not put Sasha from Attack on Titan into Death Battle.
I'm going to pretend I know who that is. And I agree with him. Alright, so yeah, when it comes to like Death Battle sort of characters, the first thing I either thought about is either anime warriors, or just heroic characters in general. Maybe occasionally get a joke fight like what's his name, Smokey the Bear versus McGruff the Crime Dog, because that's just silly and stuff like that. But at no point do I ever think to put up Smokey the Bear up against Doctor Who, just because they have something to do with time travel or something like that. and speaking of that, so let's talk about this first franchise that I think should never get into Death Battle, just on the basis of what the show is about, Doctor Who. And I specifically also mean none of the Doctors, whether it be the new one or original, should ever be in Death Battle. Because here's the thing about it, when you have to animate these episodes, again, if it's like a joke fight, you can act a bit crazy, Smokey and McGruff, you have them use their abilities, use the monster truck, because, it's what they're known for. But now let's look at Doctor Who. Now, on scale, the idea of the Doctor using his TARDIS in the Death Battle seems interesting. But if you've watched the show, how often do you see the Doctor actually get into a fisticuff fight or using some sort of weapon to defeat his enemies?
I don't watch Doctor Who. Isn't a lot of his fight to do with prep and planning and stuff?
Yeah,
and a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, which, to be fair, the sonic screwdriver just basically does whatever the Doctor wishes for it to do. Well, on a scale of depending on what he's trying to do with the gadget. Like, if he wants a gun to self-destruct, he'll just point the sonic screwdriver at it, and it'll just cause the gun to just fall apart. But obviously,
so it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, I guess so. And he sort of built this reputation of causing mass genocide of multiple powerful armies, and just like Mate said though, that's prep time. And people said, oh, we want to see the Doctor versus Rick from Rick and Morty, and I'm like, okay, here's the difference. Rick in the actual show has been in a fight. He's been in multiple fights where he's been wounded, and he has gadgets literally prepared for if a certain situation happens. Heck, he literally has something prepared in case he dies. So, Rick makes more sense to have in a Death Battle than the Doctor. I get it, the Doctor is an iconic sort of character, but the other issue with bringing in a Doctor character is that which Doctor do you use? Do you use the current one? Do you use the most popular one, David Tennant?
Same character, just reincarnated into different bodies.
Yeah, but imagine trying to decide which sprite or 3D model to use.
Okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, it would just be really awkward. Now people said, "Oh, what about a Doctor Who?"
Sorry, I thought you were trying to go at it because when I tell some people about Death Battle and they mention, oh yeah, they put Naruto up against Ichigo, one of the first things they do is oh, is it just regular Naruto or is it Naruto Shippuden? They're the same character.
True. No, I am.
They would yeah.
I just mean oh, if you were to use their sprite, what do you use? And then people have also suggested, oh, why not a Doctor Who Battle Royale? That would just be the that would be the lamest Death Battle ever. I love Doctor Who. Do I want to see him in a Death Battle because I'm scared he'll die? They'll die. It's kind of weird to talk about the Doctor's gender now. Honestly, I wouldn't really care if they died, but at the same time, the fight would just look like just seeing a group of people just fighting. Do you remember that parody Rooster Teeth did years ago where Screw Attack Funhouse and Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunt just got into a battle royale, it would just basically be that.
No, that was a parody of the Anchorman fight.
Well, yeah, that would just
I
basically...
love that video so much.
That would just basically be it. It would just be the Anchorman fight. And as funny as that is, for a Doctor Who fight, it's kind of lame. This one might piss off some people in the Duo Dreamers Discord server. Pixar characters. Now, I should be clarifying, there's some Pixar characters that I think can work. However, let's say someone like Moana. Who do you put her up against? And I'm looking at it right now. People suggest Moana versus Ariel from Little Mermaid. Again, that...
What the actual fuck?
I heard Maui versus Hercules requested.
See, that's what I was saying, like, you know, there are some characters that work. Maui kinda does. Even though he doesn't have that much screen time, I would rather him in a death battle than Moana, because Moana isn't really a combatant. In fact, in all her fights, she outsmarts her opponents. She would not last in an actual fight. She's not a fighter, she's a sailor, or wayfinder as they say. And another character, Sully from Monsters Inc. Again, he's a pretty strong character, but he's not a fighter. He just scares children because it's his job. When he actually gets into a fight, he gets his ass kicked. He is your average Joe. He's just a working man, just doing his job. He's not someone who fights monsters or stuff like that. And people might say, oh, but in the video games he fights children's toys. I'm not kidding. And no, Kingdom Hearts 3 does not count. Because again, he didn't fight the character. He threw him in a door and then just threw the doors into more doors.
So, if we were to count Kingdom Hearts, no, that's a separate Sully, technically. Like,
Yeah.
They talked about this on Death Battle Cast with, like, Jack Sparrow. Like, no, they would not scale, like, Jack Sparrow from the movies the way he does in Kingdom Hearts and whatnot.
Yeah. And there's just a lot of Pixar characters that I could just bring out that don't do that much fighting. Like, we'll be here all day, but I'm just generally saying, Pixar in general should not be in Death Battle. Maybe some combatants that are actually fighters, but overall... Actually, you know what? I don't think Moana is actually a Pixar character. I could be wrong about it. I think she is a Disney character, but some of the Pixar animes helped with her movie. So I guess I'll say...
Possibly.
I'll just say Disney princesses as well on top of that.
Although they have talked about doing the Disney Princess Battle Royale.
Okay, now that would be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny because, you know, again, that could be considered a joke fight. It's just funny seeing, like, the Disney princesses fighting each other. But if we're talking about a serious death battle... Oh yeah, another character.
So we're just gonna take it.
Right.
Another...
Wouldn't Mulan win that anyway?
I don't know, actually. Though she might miss them at point blank range. And the final characters that... Okay, I'm kind of throwing two franchises in the mix. They're both similar. Fight me. The Simpsons and Family Guy. Like... Okay, I get that the fact that Family Guy and The Simpsons have a rivalry, and maybe Stewie, you could argue, could get a death fight. In fact, I'll gladly see Stewie versus Rick over the Doctor versus Rick. But...
Okay.
But Homer Simpson... No. I would not want Homer in a death battle. It would be funny, but when you have to animate that fight, you kind of have to give him... You either have to make him fight like a drunken buffoon, or give him video game powers like in the video game. Because, honestly, seeing Homer just fight as a regular dude just sounds so boring.
If you want to see that, just watch the crossover episode.
Yeah, but to that point...
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, but in that sort of episode, they've had to kind of like, you know, make the character seem super overpowered and stuff like that.
To be fair, that's just a chicken fight.
Yeah. And, you know, as entertaining as the chicken fights are in Family Guy, would anyone really be excited about Peter getting in Death Battle?
Not really nowadays, no.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like people would only get entertained seeing Peter in Death Battle if he gets killed, because people hate Peter now. And it's kind of funny looking at him, like, because I remember watching a few season 1 episodes. Peter was such a nice guy, but then when you look past season 6, wow, he is a...
Yeah, like I was rewatching the first few seasons of Family Guy on Disney Plus. Yes, that's a Disney property now. Like, what the hell?
I mean, Disney owned Borat as well, so you kind of get used to it.
True. Yeah, I was just like watching through some of it, and I just remember some of the more modern stuff, and I'm just like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of see it. There are certain characters that do belong in a death battle, which I think are more akin to fighting characters or characters that have been on some sort of grand adventure. Comedy characters or even movie stars like Pixar or Disney characters do not belong in a death battle. Heck, I don't even think Disney's Peter Pan should get a death battle. Because, honestly, he doesn't even have that any feet. He flies and he uses a sword. That's it. He's just a normal dude, but he flies.
You know, there's one I'm surprised you didn't say.
What's that?
Well, after what you said in the first podcast we did, I thought you would have said Korra.
No, do you want to hear okay, even though I joked about Korra and Eva, one, that was to take the piss out of Richard, because he likes to take the piss out of your early mate with Attack on Titan. Joke's on him though.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan got in before Korra did.
He said it.
But
But
it
here's
was all Billy.
hey, you're the ones that
I mean,
said you like Hal Jordan.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Okay, yeah, so just to wrap up my points, because we're at 15 minutes past an hour. I don't mind Korra in Death Battle. Like, you know, I've seen what she does. Even though I'm not a fan of her character or show, she has her fans, and I'm pretty sure people would like to see her in a Death Battle. And she's
Yeah,
more
although
worthy.
I think she has 3 requests that are likely, and as far as I'm aware, she loses all of them.
And
Unfortunate.
there's one that I think that I can think of that she might win, but
So, well,
I think Ray is the closest, but I'd still give the edge to Ray.
so yeah, so I feel like she's more worthy to be in a death battle than any Pixar main character, excluding some that are actually, you know, combatants. I mean, are we going to see the characters from Soul in death battle?
You know, The Incredibles.
I mean, The Incredibles, like I said, I'm not saying every Pixar character, just a majority. I could definitely be down seeing Mr. Incredible in a death battle. So, those are specifically franchises or just characters I don't think should be in a death battle. Mate really wants to say a few things about characters not in a death battle, and I'm looking forward to hearing them. Because I feel like his ones are more on an emotional level than me on a writing level.
Okay, no, like, Sasha was just one example.
I don't even know who that is.
that's a potato girl from Attack on Titan.
I don't watch fucking Attack on Titan!
You made me make that thumbnail of her fighting Nogla with the background as potatoes.
Oh, that's Sasha. Oh.
You know, as much as I say, no, don't put Sasha in Death Battle, like, watch. All the cast of Attack on Titan get in, they lose, but then they put Sasha against someone, and she ends up winning.
That would be incredible.
I would laugh my ass off if that actually happens.
I mean, if she's going up against Nogla...
Also, I love Sasha, so, you know.
If she does go up against Nogla, I don't think he can win.
Yeah, I also don't really know a matchup for her anyway, which is good because I don't really want her in and I don't want to risk that. But in terms of, like, seriously, like, not wanting, like, certain franchises or whatnot, I've got a few. Sometimes it's just like, okay, this series is a bit, like, too new. Or, like, they don't have any, like, clear-cut feats, or just... And admittedly, sometimes where it's just like, let's say they're known for having a bit of a toxic fan base.
I can name a few.
Yeah, and The main thing that I really don't want to see is a lot of like adult animation shows in Death Battle, like Simpsons, Family Guy, all that like sort of stuff. The one exception is Futurama.
Yeah, but those characters actually get involved
That
in some
I feel
combat.
like works the best for a Death Battle.
Hmm.
I mean, there are characters with combat experience, like Leela, I think is a good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, like, dude, just give us Millennium Falcon versus Planet Express.
is it kind of weird? I kind of want to see
Like-
Princess Leia versus Leela.
Well, Leia's gonna fucking die. That's all I gotta say.
Honestly,
Um,
that matchup is better than the one I had for her, honestly.
Are you saying Leia's gonna lose? Because
There's a good chance.
you are aware Leia is a Jedi and she's comparable to Luke Skywalker.
Wait. Oh, like comparable in Legends?
Yeah,
Okay, then yeah, rip Leela.
but even in the
I
movies,
forgot they'd be counting. No, if we're just talking movies, my money would still be on Leia
really, I'd still
because
say-
she'd be like, holy shit, way the fuck faster.
Like I said, that's better than the idea I had for Leela's opponent, honestly.
Who'd you have in mind?
Commander Shepard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, do you know what? Funny you bring
That's why
that
it's
up.
better than mine.
Guess who's Commander Shepard's most requested opponent?
Boba Fett?
Dragonborn from Skyrim.
Fucking why?
Wait, what? Like, okay, I've heard Dragonborn versus Chosen Undead.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, but people really do want to see Shepard versus the Dragonborn. I'm just like, okay, the idea of magic versus science sounds freaking wicked, but especially RPG characters, as sad it is to say, you would have to give the Dragonborn all his promo images, you know, where he's wearing the weakest vest in the whole game, and just the magic that he gains by doing quests. Whereas Commander Shepard has a spaceship.
Also, to keep in mind is just like, what ending or incarnation of Shepard do you use? Because he's got a lot of paths he can go down in the Mass Effect series.
You know, that goes into another thing I'm not too keen on. It's just like there was a whole thing way back when where they thought RPG characters were a bit difficult to put in Death Battle in the way that's like the most fair.
Okay.
Yeah. I've after some like really bad experiences, I'm not exactly too keen on some, like most notably Final Fantasy in Death Battle.
Okay, I actually want to jump in on this. Okay, listen. I get the fact that RPG characters are difficult to put in Death Battle, but Final Fantasy characters I think are an exception. Because if you go by movies and manga, they do have a canonical how do you say it, man? A canonological power level and abilities that they use. Just
And
saying.
also, like, another example of RPG characters is like the Borderlands franchise, which I am a huge fan of. But there are workarounds to that. You can either go with a character that's not a playable character, or if you want to go with one of the former playable characters, you can just mostly focus on material of the other games they've been in. Like with Zero, you can focus more so on Borderlands 3 and Tales of the Borderlands if you want to go for feats, or like the trailers and everything. There are workarounds to certain RPG games.
Yeah, that's actually why Sephiroth was like the only one I actually requested, because, well, he's not a playable character. You don't have to do any kind of questionable, okay, what do you give him stuff? Just like, no, what he has is, that's what he has.
So it's mostly main characters of RPG games that you don't think is going to be like a good work with.
It can get weird, like with Shepard, it's just like there's all these different endings and all those different classes, like what do you go with, like just stuff like that. I'm sure there's ways you can make it work, and whatever happens, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, and like I've had some bad experience with like Final Fantasy debates to the point where I refuse to get involved in them ever again.
I think what's even harder about doing characters like Commander Shepard's that if you was like, oh, just do it with the Dragonborn, just go with what you see in the promo trailers and clips. In every single trailer of Mass Effect, Commander Shepard's got either his biotech powers or he's just an ordinary soldier. So it's like, well, shit, you can't combine those two. And in some trailers,
it's not the character's overall fault. It's just the idea of getting the type of game they're involved in the death battle that makes it fair and balanced.
I think how the Dragonborn and characters like him can work is if you just go by all the quests that you do with those characters and what items you get. Okay, one, that's going to take a long time because I still have yet to complete Skyrim. Yeah.
And plus, do you count DLC or not for the Dragonborn?
I think you do because they are linked to his story in the main game. But with Commander Shepard, because if you just, let's say, I don't know, you decided to skip 1 and 2 and went for 3, well, in number 3, it chooses that, oh, Kaidan's alive, Rex is alive. But in Mass Effect 2, if you chose to play that before 1, Kaidan's dead and Rex is dead. So it's like, yeah, there's no clear canon in Mass Effect at all. Heck, even if you played Andromeda, there's no canon. No matter what ending you go, it never carries over to the next game. So it's just, whatever happened, happened.
And just throwing out there are RPGs where I feel like, yeah, those absolutely can work for death battle. Like Persona is a good example.
Can it?
Well, yeah, they did Mitsuru.
I mean, yeah, but didn't she already have, like, pre-powers before joining your team?
Well, and that's the thing. I feel like side characters, like, you know, Mitsuru, they work probably the best because they have, like, yeah, that's their persona. These are the abilities that they have. There you go. Protagonists, that gets a little iffy. Me and Max do have a way where we can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, I'm not, like, against RPG characters, it's just, like, sometimes it can get a little iffy, and I refuse to get in Final Fantasy debates, ever. Like, no more of that.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen the debates that you and some of my friends got into on Twitter years ago about it, and I was just like, I ain't touching this shit.
yeah, that shit is toxic, and I'm not getting involved in that ever again.
I think that's kind of more so to do with the verse community than the actual, you know, show or game.
Yeah, that too. And I'm just throwing this out. I don't hate Final Fantasy. Just, I don't really want to get involved in any of those kinds of debates ever again. Like, hell no. But moving on and going back to the whole Western animated thing, and why I don't really want any Family Guy characters or South Park, like, in this show is because, like, one of the things about Death Battle is, like, it's also a celebration of the characters. The cast of Family Guy and South Park, say what you will, they're awful people.
Well, so is Dr. Doom and Lex Luthor.
But not awful like writing, I think Mate's trying to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you're going by that, then,
with Doom and Lex Luthor, like, yeah, they're villains. That's what I'd expect. But if you're trying to get me to celebrate Peter Griffin, hell no.
Okay.
Or Glenn Quagmire. Like,
oh god.
fuck that guy.
Oh yeah. And do you know what's funny? Again, what we said.
Not like that, Jesus.
Again, what we said. During the early seasons of Family Guy, Quagmire was just a pervert and a ladies' man. Then, as you get into the next few seasons, he becomes so many things.
Yeah, then he becomes a necrophiliac, incest, rapist, pedo.
Is it kind of sad to say Herbert the Pervert has more dignity than Quagmire? I never thought I'd ever say that.
A little bit.
I don't know. It's kind of shameful when Dr. Doom is like probably the most civilized person compared to Quagmire.
I'm gonna just throw this out there. If they announce they're gonna kill off Quagmire and Family Guy, I might actually celebrate and watch it again.
So does that mean you might want to see him in Death Battle because he might lose?
No, I mean in the actual show.
No, I'm saying, like, if he does get into Death Battle, would you actually celebrate if he loses?
I think I would just skip ahead to the fight. Like,
yeah, we don't need to see his analysis.
Alright, and like the last one, you touched on this a little bit, and this is kind of a mixture of the whole like fan base and animated thing. I really don't want to see Rick and Morty on Death Battle.
Really?
Okay, that's a unique one.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Why? I mean, Rick and Morty do get involved.
Like he said, it's the fan bases.
I mean,
yeah, just oof.
Okay.
I don't want to get involved in that.
Okay, listen. If we were just to go by fans of how toxic they are, then you wouldn't want any Marvel character in Death Battle because. Probably an unpopular opinion, ever since the MCU movies, Marvel fans have been the worst.
Well, also to be fair, let's be real, any fan base can have, like, terrible people in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I get it, you know, there was that whole Pickle Rick thing that got out and controlling the Szechuan sauce. But I feel like after that, though, the fan base has sort of chillaxed. Like, even Rick and Morty's creator insults the fans that do the Pickle Rick joke and for the Szechuan sauce. So even they know that, and he'll gladly say in public, "You guys suck," but still keep watching my show. You're great. He gives no fucks.
Yeah, like hell, I love Ruby. There can be some terrible people in the fan base.
I mean, I'm a casual viewer of that, so I wouldn't know. Well, I mean, one of my friends who's a big fan of it is a giant pervert, but I wouldn't say she's toxic.
But okay, after you say that, like, okay, I'll say maybe. There we go.
All right.
Okay. But no, like Family Guy and South Park especially, just no. Let's not.
Fair enough. Is that all you had to say, or do you have something else to add? Nate?
No, I think of oh, and just movie characters that really don't work for Death Battle in general. Like they're not like actual fighters or anything like that. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm not against, like, let's say we take every character that's played by this one actor, and let's say we just put that actor in Death Battle against another one. Like they talked about in Death Battle Cast, doing all the avatars of Arnold Schwarzenegger versus all the avatars of Sylvester Stallone.
Okay, that would be kind of epic.
Although there's one problem with that, and they have acknowledged it, and it's Terminator. Like, how does Rocky stop the Terminator?
Well, you get Rambo.
I had to make a bomb, Morty. I had to create a bomb.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's just pregnant for some reason.
Oh god, why did you have to put that image in my head? Why did you put that image back in
damn it, mate!
You monster! Or just for shits and giggles, Sean, can you find that image of baby Arnold and just put it on screen just to terrorize our viewers? Thank you.
Sure, baby Arnold.
You know, I remember seeing a bit of that movie when I was like much younger, and I forgot like who the star of it was. And then later in life, I see them bring it up in Death Battle Cast. I'm like, wait, that was Arnold?
Alright, well, enough about pregnant Arnold and baby Arnold, because my dinner's...
That was weird.
My dinner's cooked, I can smell it, and we're at the hour-and-a-half mark, so,
Well, Sean still has his thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Should we move on to Sean?
I'll take that as a yes.
I was going to say, we were waiting for you.
All right, I got like two things about this topic. One's a very minor one. I've seen people suggest characters, specifically from Overwatch to be in Death Battle again. My problem is I don't want another Overwatch character until Overwatch 2 comes out. This way it's more fair. Especially for the one matchup I hate the most is Kenshin versus Hanzo. And the main problem is Hanzo only has one cinematic and gameplay to go off of.
Yeah, that's true.
Does he have a few comics as well? I'm not a big Overwatch fan, but I'm pretty sure there's a few comics of the characters.
Oh yeah,
No.
that's true.
Oh,
I
he
don't
does
know
not.
how present Hanzo is though.
Exactly. That's why I would say, oh, if we want to bring in another Overwatch character, we should at least wait until Overwatch 2 comes out.
Yeah, like
That. Go ahead.
like when they get more feats and whatnot and give us more to work with.
Yeah.
I think the
I
reason
mean, yeah,
why...
there are some characters from Overwatch you can put in Death Battle nowadays. I think it'd just be more fair to the Overwatch character if we would wait and see what else they can actually do.
I feel like the only reason
Yeah, and like
characters
I've seen people
Sorry, do you want to go?
like I see people request Genji a lot. Like his most popular request being Raiden from Metal Gear.
Oof.
Which
Ah,
okay, that fight would be really awesome to watch. Like the 3D models like going at it. Though Genji, I'm really sorry, buddy.
I mean, there's a matchup I have that was this. There's a Genji matchup that was my most wanted before Madara versus Aizen, and it's because I want Overwatch 2 to happen first before I make that my number one again.
Right.
Oh, is it Genji versus the dude from Borderlands, whose name I forgot?
Zero, and yes.
Yeah, I've seen that brought up.
But that's just like a minor one. There is a franchise I don't want to see in Death Battle, and people have made trailers with characters from this franchise. And this franchise, if I'm being honest, first of all, it's a visual novel game franchise. There's only logically 2 characters that I can see getting into the Death Battle from this franchise. Danganronpa should not be in Death
How
Battle.
did I know you were gonna say that one?
I enjoy the franchise.
I'm going to
Because
pretend I know what
I
he's
made a
talking
video
about.
on Danganronpa. Right. Let me put it to you like this, Bill. Have you heard of the Phoenix Wright series?
Okay, I do know the series, but I don't know too much about the character feats and stuff like that. I just know of some clips and a few
Okay.
videos from Max Few Trades. So you guys should definitely go watch.
I mean, yeah, there's the anime of Danganronpa, but
Prepare for a lot of emotions.
yes.
That's all I'm gonna
Here's
say.
the thing. Logically speaking, there's 2 characters from Danganronpa that could be in a death battle.
There is one I want to see.
One of them being Monokuma, that's the big one,
I want to see him fight Teddy from Persona 4.
and the other one is a character from Danganronpa 3. So, spoilers, for Max especially, since you haven't played the 3rd game yet.
And I'm
Kibo.
not sure if he watches these.
Don't blame him.
Kibo is the ultimate cyborg, and he actually has shown destruction feats. Literally, those are the only 2 characters from Danganronpa I feel like they could logically work for Death Battle. There's a Deku matchup with a Danganronpa character that works well thematically. The other guy has 0 combat experience.
Wait, is that Deku versus Hajime?
Technically, yes.
I've seen that requested here and there.
Here's the thing. Danganronpa Ultimates. The Ultimates range from stuff like the Ultimate Cyborg, as I said earlier, Ultimate Lucky Student, to Ultimate Breeder.
Are you sure this isn't a porno?
Yes, it's a visual novel series by Spike Chunsoft.
Think of it this way, Billy. Danganronpa is a mix between Phoenix Wright, Saw, and Persona.
Oh yeah,
And
I
a
know
bit of Among
the
Us.
franchise.
Okay, yeah, that too.
Did you say Among Us?
But like, that's the thing. Yes, people do kill each other in this. That's not really good enough material for a versus debate. Hell, one of the trailers specifically, they put a Ruby character against a Danganronpa character, and guess what? Everyone thinks the Danganronpa character wins.
Yeah, that's dumb.
What the fuck?
Oh wait, is that Yang versus Akane?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm just like, huh?
If this was Nekomaru, then maybe, but not Akane.
Well, we're talking about a guy who can, like, make a canyon just by taking a shit.
Yeah, but like the thing is that the main problem with Danganronpa being a death battle is there's very little characters to pick for it to be an interesting fight. I know people like to compare like Monokuma.
Like,
Go ahead.
And even then, there's like some gag stuff, but it's just like I don't know if that really works. Or,
Yeah.
Just like it's super inconsistent with like everything else.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially like the anime. The anime is very inconsistent with the games.
I will say, shout out to the anime for clarifying so much that I had questions about with the Danganronpa series.
The thing is, though, is just like you can make arguments for certain characters. I feel like the one that makes the most sense, and the one exception I feel like I would have to this rule is Monokuma. That's the only one.
Yeah, like Monokuma versus Teddy. Hell yes, I want to see that fight. It'd be hilarious.
Anyone else from Danganronpa besides like Kibo, it's just a big no from me. I think overall, like visual novels are great, but not a lot of them are centered around like combat. They're mostly centered around like choices and a storyline in the game.
Yeah, like I've seen people request Makoto versus Phoenix Wright. And
oh god, that's a fucking F if I've ever heard one.
Like, okay, Phoenix Wright is cool, and yeah, he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but in his own games, like, no, he doesn't fight. It doesn't really work.
Neither does nearly half of this cast of Ultimates. Like, I don't understand the appeal overall. Now, I might just be missing something, and people could be doing this as a meme, like Squidward versus Bakugo. But at least with Squidward versus Bakugo, Squidward does have something going for him.
I think when it comes to, like, Death Battle fans, or specifically the ones we hang out with, they just seem to want nearly every character they can think of in Death Battle, including YouTubers. Like, I've seen a few of the people we know just request, like, Cat Icarus, Scott the Woz, one that I would actually be okay seeing is Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, versus Angry Video Game Nerd, which, you know, those two...
I see that requested a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Angry Video Game Nerd, he started out with Screw Attack, so there's some thematic sense there.
Not only that,
plus,
it could be a rematch.
There are cases that can actually make this work.
Yeah, and they made the AVGN games, so they could make a sprite for Craig and do it that way.
I was kind of thinking, like, because I'm not sure if you guys ever saw this, years ago they actually did do, like, a scripted fight in which Angry Video Game Nerd came out on top. But I think with the whole Arnold versus Stallone sort of situation, maybe they use their avatars or characters that they play as. Although, I guess if they use Devil Boner, I guess Angry Video Game loses. If you don't
I think they would just go for the characters of Nostalgia Craig versus Angry Video Game Nerd.
Most likely. I mean, Nostalgia Critic survived being thrown into hell, so he's got that going for him.
I think I've actually seen people request like Markiplier versus Jacksepticeye before.
Oh, actually, there was also that time Nostalgia Critic.
PewDiePie even.
There was that time Nostalgia Critic also destroyed an entire universe for his love for Christmas. No joke, that was an actual thing.
It became part of a super team called the Adequately Impressive 3 that did nothing.
But overall, to finish my point, I don't want Danganronpa because I hate the franchise. If I hated the franchise, I would have never done that video on it that I did. I think it's a good series. But if you don't have a lot of characters that would make sense in a death battle, that's just something I don't want to see.
Like, well, yeah, there are some animes that I've watched, but it's just like, yeah, those are like more like comedic and just people in like, well, I don't want to say real life scenarios, but like, there's one that's a good example where just like, yeah, it's just a comedic show that you just watch like for shits and giggles. Like, no, it should not be in Death Battle. No, like never.
I have said everything that I want to say.
Right, we should actually wrap up this discussion because we have gone on. It's not nearly 10 o'clock for me. And I'm really hungry. My dinner was ready 40 minutes ago.
Well, you could have like eaten some of it while we were rambling.
No, I'm not allowed to eat in my room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sad times.
Alright, but I said everything I wanted to say.
Alright, so that was our discussion on talking about Poe versus Iron Fist and talking about the next Death Battle. I'm thinking I might combine that discussion into one, and then this part
That's
will be
fair.
about, this discussion that you guys are watching right now. So, what are your thoughts about franchises that should not be in Death Battle, or ones that you think don't belong in Death Battle? If you disagree and think, oh, the things that we have brought up should be in Death Battle, leave some comments below and we'll love to see your reasoning for it. And heck, if there's some interesting subjects, we'll bring them up next episode. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. And I'm still dealing with my laptop situation, so I'm hoping to start streaming again soon. But more Resident Evil 8's on the way, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing basically whatever I find online or on the store. Your anime, do your outro.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this, remember to like and subscribe. Watch more of Billy's stuff, go to Sean's channel, watch more of his stuff, or go to my channel and watch stuff like me unwrapping a gift from Rooster Teeth. No, I'm not making that up.
Badass. And Sean, end the night off.
Thank you, folks, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this podcast so far. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, because I like reading your comments. If you want to check out everyone else's stuff, I'm sure Bill has them in the description down below. And if you're also feeling horny, you can go watch my honeypot video, because it got called the most wholesome content. I am not kidding. With that being said, thank you, folks, for watching, and I will see you all later.
By the way, we're serious about seeing Mantis versus Alan the Alien Death Battle. Get right on that.